Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Doug. Hi, I'm Chris Kapches, CEO of Chestnut Park Real Estate.
And I'm Doug Gubitz, president of Chestnut Park Real Estate. And here we are for our 13th podcast.
Our 13th podcast.
It's been a bit of a gap since the last one, but
Yeah.
we're going to try to shorten that gap going forward.
Difficult real estate times.
We've been busy with this difficult real estate market.
We have a couple of lovely Chardonnays today.
We've done a lot of white wine.
Yeah, I think this will be our last
Thank
white
you.
wine.
It's time to go back
tasting.
to red wine.
Back to red,
Yeah, I think
and
so.
maybe back to some of those
From my
big-
cellar?
Yes, from
Yeah,
your cellar.
Got it.
Those big Bordeaux's.
I'm ready for that.
You ready for that?
Even though you aren't. Well, I'm going to get you back into that. So
Okay. Well, let's just tell our audience what we have today. I'm going to speak to one of them because I personally picked this bottle up at the Huff Vineyard in Prince Edward County.
right?
And this is Huff, and it's their, I think I would call it their signature high-end
Okay.
Chardonnay called Catherine. And I actually shook Mr. Huff's hand at the time that I picked up that.
Very
bottle
nice.
of-
You've had Huff wines before.
I have, but not this particular one. This is the superior
Tête de Cuvée.
Tête de Cuvée. C'est très bon.
Et c'est 2022,
Oui, exactement.
2022.
Et l'autre?
Well, we tried to, once you introduced the Huff, we thought we'd try to see a similarly priced Burgundy, which is 100% Chardonnay. We went to the LCBO yesterday and we selected this bottle. Completely blind.
Correct.
It was based essentially trying to match the price point a little bit. I think you said this is $39.
I believe something in that range.
And this was 55 or 56. So we couldn't match it up exactly, but to some of our audience's request, they'd like us to be dealing with wines that they could actually go and
That
buy.
they actually could buy.
There's some logic there,
And
but
for that reason, we have these wines here.
Right,
There
so-
were some, I noticed some Chardonnays that were over $200.
correct. We were looking for a Chablis,
Right.
which is also 100% Chardonnay. But this is a Burgundy, a white Burgundy. It's made by Philippe Chavey, Chavy. We know nothing about it. It's a 2022. So we're going to put it up against Huff and see how it goes.
Let's start
do that
by doing a quick
Number
tasting.
one is the
Huff.
the Prince Edward County wine. 100% Chardonnay, right?
100% Chardonnay. Interesting nose.
Yeah. A lot of apple.
Yeah.
Ooh. Bigger mouthfeel than the ones that you've been bringing from the county in the past. This is a rich, dense wine.
It's been in oak. That's why.
As you know, I can't really. I'm not good at picking up
It's
oak.
been an
but
oak.
If that's what you're talking about, this is an oaky wine.
And there's woodiness in
Tannin.
Yeah.
It's kind of cloying a little bit, but it's a very big mouthfeel. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's
It could go well with a bigger, heavier
food. Something.
Yeah.
It's not letting go. Like there's a lot of carry on this. It's continuing to. You can taste it for a long time.
Now I'm getting
Length,
the pineapple again in the.
I think
Burgundy.
I think I got you onto the pineapple thing. This is much lighter on the nose. Oh yeah, I see what you mean by the oak. That makes a lot of sense.
Crisper,
Cleaner.
unlike the subject we're going to talk about.
But I'm not loving it. If we're just going to review these, are we enjoying them?
You prefer the Catherine?
Well, a little bit more because there's more. There's more of a backbone to that wine. There's almost, unless it's going to open up in the next few minutes. The temperature is good. They've both been in the fridge for quite some time. There's nothing there.
I would agree with you. On a blind test, I would choose the Catherine over the.
There's no tannin. It doesn't have any acidic spine to it.
And yet it's been barreled as well.
Yes. So yeah.
Well, let's see as
This
we make our way through.
This is not an exciting one. We're going to do better with the Bordeaux next time. Two topics today.
Two topics. The one topic, messy. Actually, both
Both
topics
topics are messy.
Messy.
Yeah.
We could have talked from the perspective of the HST first, as opposed to the cooperation policy.
Yeah. So
but let's start with the HST.
I think so, because it's going to get hotter.
It's very topical. And one of the reasons why we're having this conversation, for those of you that might not be aware of this, although I suspect that this is common knowledge now, that both the federal and the provincial governments collectively announced that they were going to eliminate the HST on new construction purchases, and you didn't have to be a first-time buyer.
That's a huge change.
Huge change, because up until recently, any benefit that flowed from HST, PST rebates or reductions was directed to the first-time buyer. But not in this case. Almost everything.
Almost every government initiative with respect to new construction has been geared to the first-time buyer.
And again, if anyone isn't aware of this, if you buy $1 million property, new construction, the savings can amount to $130,000.
This is a very, very big announcement.
Assuming you can get them. That's where the controversy lies.
Well, it came out big and loud, and everybody was very impressed and thought this was going to have a remarkably stimulative.
That's a very good word.
Stimulative effect. Mm-hmm. And I think it might still have that. Once all the confusion surrounding this
That's
thing
what we're going to talk about, is the confusion, because there is a lot of confusion associated with this. Perhaps we should mention a couple of things. The maximum benefit is to $1 million purchase.
Up to 1.5.
1.5, then it starts to decline.
From 1.5 to 1,850,000, it reverts back to the old scheme.
And as far as investors go, people that aren't purchasing for use as their principal resident, there's also some interesting ramifications, which I don't think we need to get into here. But the other thing that should be remembered about this I'm going to say legislation, although we don't have it yet, that's part of what we're going to talk about, is that it's for property sales starting in April the 1st, going for 1 year to the end of March 2027. So it's a short window, but a very expensive window for government, because the amount of reduction is substantial, both at the provincial and at the federal levels.
So what's the agenda really? Like, why just 1 year, and what's the whole purpose?
I think because it's too expensive to extend it beyond that.
Yeah, and I also think
especially since you're extending it to people that are frequent buyers as opposed to just first-time buyers.
And overall, the bigger policy picture or issue is cleaning up inventory, unsold inventory, and stimulating perhaps some new building. But you got to get on it.
Correct.
You have 3 years to complete the property, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But where the confusion lies, and this is what we're going to spend a little time on, is that there was a joint announcement, in this case between our Premier and the Prime Minister, about this, because it is big news. But in fact, we don't have any legislation. Here in Canada and in Ontario, we're not like the United States, where the president can
an executive order,
make an executive order, and it becomes law. Here in Ontario and in Canada, we need Parliament and the legislature to make legislation so that what we've just spoken about can take effect. And to this day, even though the announcement was in March, we're now in early May as this podcast is taking place, and we have no legislation. And people are confused.
But before we get into the confusion, which is significant and a problem, and it hit us almost the next morning after it was announced, this is quite an impressive collaboration, for lack of a better word, and a quick collaboration between the federal government and the provincial government, which is not something you see very often, right?
New World Order, Doug.
Well, good for them.
New World Order.
I actually think this was a fast move. It was well thought out, just not well implemented yet, but good for the province and good for the federal government for doing this, waiving both the 7% GST and 8% HST, 7 and 6. Which is it? The PST and the GST.
I think it's
combined.
8 and 5.
8, that's correct. 8 and 5 for a combined 13%, which is the combined tax.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the fact that
I agree. That part of it I'm impressed with, but the rest of it is typical government.
Right. Well, but it was announced quickly. It came together very quickly, and it was announced very quickly.
I'll bet you we could write legislation
Faster,
faster.
probably. Well, you could. I'm not sure.
We could do it.
Okay.
You could do it.
And
Do
yeah,
you
so
want
what's
to
the
talk
problem?
about what the confusion is?
No, you're very good.
Well,
at that.
the confusion currently lies in the fact that buyers and builders don't know how to apply this so-called 13% rebate.
So let's use the example of $1 million purchase and $130,000 credit rebate. Who's getting it? How's it happening?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's some controversy around the fact that this is just going to be a benefit to builders.
And others say, I'm not going to reduce my price because it's a pure benefit to the buyer.
Yet other builders are already reducing their price equivalent to the amount of the HST rebate.
Are they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I even showed you a couple of projects where they're using it as a marketing technique now.
Yeah, but then what happens to the rebate?
Good question.
So let's assume you're taking a marketing incentive. You're the developer. You're at $1 million. You decide you're going to say to the world in a new advertisement. Now all of a sudden the purchase price is $870 because I've reduced the price by the HST. Who gets that now?
Good question. And what happens if the legislation never goes into effect?
Does the price get clawed back up to $1 million?
That's where the confusion lies.
Right.
In some cases, builders are using language in their agreement to deal with that. In other cases, buyers and their agents are trying to use language in their agreements to protect the buyer. I have some notes here, and this is from an article in one of the local newspapers. And basically, they're saying that there are 3 methods for dealing with this out there. The first method, and it says it's the majority method, is basically saying, here's your price, Mr. Buyer. You and I will deal with all the rebate papers, and then I will get the rebate.
Seller, developer.
The developer, builder.
Which is how it is right now with the $24,000.
Yeah, just explain how that is currently.
So I buy a condo for $600,000. If I'm going to be occupying it as my residence, the government rebates you $24,000 and change in HST. I paid $6,000. On closing, the purchase price is reduced by the $24,000, and the buyer assigns his right to that rebate from the government to the developer,
who files documentation
and collects it,
and ultimately collects it.
So he gets his $600,000 notionally, and I'm paying $600 minus $24,000.
$24,000.
Yeah.
Some believe that that's what's going to happen in this instance.
Well, it makes perfect sense.
It does. That's why.
Why don't they just say so, though?
Why don't you just say so? Have the legislation.
It's going to be rebated, and that's it. It's rebated to the buyer, or the buyer can assign that rebate to the seller.
Correct.
Developer. And then Bob's your uncle. Sort it out.
The interesting thing is that the CREA, CRA, I don't know why.
You keep calling CREA.
I call it CREA because of our own association.
And for perhaps our second topic.
Our second topic, yes.
But it's a CRA, Canada Revenue Agency.
They have yet to issue any indication as to how they're going to be treating it.
And on that note, who's going to be administering this? Is it the provincial government or the federal government? Apparently, from what I've read, and we talked about this has been given to the federal government to manage.
That's why the CRA is involved.
Correct. So the provincial government has given that obligation.
But the CRA is saying,
we don't know what to do yet.
We don't know what to do.
And this is going on now. How many?
We're into the second month, almost into the third month.
And we got calls the next morning.
Correct. And we have agents trying to cope with issues related to this. The second methodology is the one that we've briefly touched on, where the builder is basically reducing the price by the equivalent of the rebate. But they're building in language saying that, hey, if this doesn't materialize, you will owe me this money, Mr. Buyer.
Is this? We're going to call this option number 2. 2. In that 2, it's assumed that I'm the buyer, you're the developer. I'm assigning this right. Okay. So there's an assignment provision in the agreement saying I'm giving up my rights to it. You can collect it and keep it.
Yes.
Okay.
And the last one is, and I'm not being facetious, it says the do nothing.
What do you mean?
Well, there are builders that are saying, hey, I don't know how this is going to work out, so we're not doing anything. You want to do the deal, we're going to do it on the basis of the old legislation.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
if it materializes, we'll deal with it.
well, the question is, how would it be dealt with? I could argue the simple answer is it's my rebate. I'm the buyer.
Correct.
So you're out of that
So
equation.
you know what's going to happen?
I'm just going to apply for the rebate and get it?
No deal's going to get done.
Oh, I see. Well, I suspect that's happening right now,
Yeah.
i.e. there's a total stalemate.
We don't want to get into a bashing the government.
Well, why not?
Well,
we do a lot of that.
You're usually the defender.
I know I am, and you're usually the basher, but you seem to be a little bit more simpatico this time.
When it was first announced, I thought it was very positive for an industry that's under tremendous strain right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make this announcement, to get all the political positive fallout, and then not to be able to create an implementation program, again, it smacks of that government incompetence.
But they managed to get an alignment between two levels of government, and quickly. That's incredible.
Just like you and me talking around this table.
Yeah. So you think that's how they aligned it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
now how are we going to make this happen?
Well, they shouldn't have left the room
Mr.
without
Ford,
doing anything.
Mr. Ford, how are we going to make this happen?
Should have said, you know
leave
what?
it to our people.
Let's call your lawyer. I'll call my lawyer. Let's draft some legislation, immediately get it before your legislature, my parliament, and get this program moving. That's what should have happened.
Correct. And the bigger problem, it's not just getting this program moving. You could just delay a program, and that's one thing. But you've caused absolute chaos and turmoil in the industry in the meantime, probably stalling deals that, but for this rebate announcement, would have gone forward in the ordinary course. And now they're being stalled. So probably the net effect is it's slowing the marketplace right now. Talk about an unintended consequence.
An unintended negative consequence.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, hopefully with enough criticism, they should accelerate the process, but I don't know why they haven't. I could be critical, but I don't have enough time.
Do you have a solution you think would be the most workable solution? If you could be an advocate or
I think that even if you had a statement coming from the two levels of government that we spoke about, that we're in the process of drafting the legislation will be such that it'll be recognized as a rebate, handle it the way you handled previous rebates, and that's the way we're going to draft it. Then everyone knows where they're coming from. The buyer knows where they're coming from, and more importantly, the builder knows where he's coming from.
Good point.
That's what I would do.
And right now, the silence is deafening.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is that so difficult?
No, the whole thing is simple. That's the frustrating part. They do one thing really, really well.
That huff is amazing.
Yeah, but none of the Bourgogne is coming along.
Is it?
Yeah, it needed air. It came out flat as a pancake. It had nothing to it. And now, all of a sudden, it's starting to develop a little structure. There's some acid, there's some tannin. It's becoming a wine all of a sudden. It just was angry in the bottle. It's less angry now.
Has the crew tasted it?
The huff is spectacular.
Well, that's your kind of wine. But talk about the Bourgogne for a moment.
The Bourgogne, the oak started coming out as it warmed up a little bit.
That we'll call that structure. Tannin.
The structure was missing when we first opened it. The structure was already there in the huff.
It was like flat apple juice.
Yeah.
Okay, this is becoming a more interesting little battle here. I think the huff is starting to settle down a bit too. It was quite big.
It was big, and the bigness of it wasn't all necessarily the best part of it. But now these are two lovely wines.
Now they're both coming along beautifully.
These are two lovely
It's interesting. You don't think so much about wine, white wine, I mean, with respect to needing time in glass or time in a decanter. Most people pour white wine and drink it.
Exactly.
Whereas with red wine, they think, oh, it needs some time. I'm going to decant it, put it in the glass, blah, blah. These actually needed. Even 5 or 10 minutes, they've fundamentally changed. And I'm liking them both very much.
And I think
now.
some previous podcasts have demonstrated how they have changed.
Yes.
Some of the whites that we've...
but you normally see that kind of change
in reds.
Yeah. This has been
Well, I
fascinating.
look forward to our next podcast
I have an idea.
in that regard.
These are now actually very tasty. Yeah. I'm enjoying both of them.
Are we going to let the crew take these at the end of the podcast?
Well, we'll have to discuss that.
Yeah, because these...
Normally we do. Normally the balance of the bottle goes to the crew. This could be a bit of a more hot topic issue here.
Kelly.
Or Kelly. We'll look after it.
We'll look after it.
it.
But next subject.
So this was one that, you know,
I know this is one that is troublesome to you.
well, it's troublesome to all of us.
Yes.
And the troubles land on your desk, they land on mine, and they're landing on the industry at large. So what we're talking
I
about...
think that's the first step, is to explain to our audience what we're going to be talking about.
We're talking about a policy by the Canadian Real Estate Association.
A bylaw.
A bylaw, even worse, called the Realtor Cooperation Policy. We call it the CREA Cooperation Policy, or the exclusive policy. In a nutshell, by the way, CREA controls the MLS system, right? They own the copyright to MLS.
Correct.
CREA is an association of member boards across the country, Canadian Real Estate Association. We'll talk about the association piece, I'm sure, shortly. So what's this CREA exclusive policy all about? Essentially, it's a direction from
It's an order
from our Canadian Association that, from a policy perspective, all listings of residential property, in very short order, have to be put onto the MLS system. You can't really market your property exclusively, effectively. The agenda is, if you're going to list your property in very short order, 3 days, it's going to go onto the MLS system. Mm-hmm. I'll just read a few little passages from the preamble of CREA's cooperation policy. Placing a listing on MLS systems increases the exposure of listings to a broad group of realtors and their buyer clients, providing them access to a more complete inventory of homes that may meet their needs. From a seller's perspective, a listing with greater exposure on MLS may increase the number of offers received and improve the chances of receiving the most competitive offers for their home. Mm-hmm. No
one would debate anything that you've just read.
Because it makes sense. Failure to place a listing on MLS not only undermines the best interest of clients, but also the value of the MLS system. I'm going to repeat that one. Failure to place a listing on MLS not only undermines the best interests of clients, but also the value of the MLS. It goes on.
But that statement assumes that clients are automatons without any choice.
We're going to get there. Last little bit. Of course, I'm cutting and pasting bits that I want to read. This policy, which we'll discuss, the mechanics of it, requires realtors to place their listings on board or association MLS systems within a brief period of time after the property has been first publicly marketed.
3 days.
3 days. Ensuring that all realtors and their clients have equal access to the most comprehensive property information available on MLS during the home buying and selling process. Ensuring that realtors and their clients have equal access to the most comprehensive property information available. Realtors and their clients. Okay, so the next question is, how does it work? So I can sign your house up exclusively. I can market it publicly, and public marketing, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do. Put it on a website, you put it out on social media, put up a lawn sign, perhaps a newspaper ad.
Sure.
And market the exclusive listing of yours broadly, openly to everybody through the internet. But only for 3 days.
3 days.
At which point, what happens?
Got to go to MLS.
So at that point, I have to convert your listing. It's your house. You're the seller. I have to effectively force you onto the MLS system because you're not allowed to market your property any other way, according to the...
What? I don't want to go on MLS.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you have to.
Does that make any sense?
Or wait a second, Chris, I appreciate your anxiety over this. You don't want to go onto the MLS system? Why not?
I'm going through a very nasty divorce right now.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, very nasty divorce.
Okay. But you still want to sell your house, don't you?
I still want to sell
And
my
the MLS
house.
is the most exposing type of...
I still want to sell my house, but do you know the lawyer that's working for my wife?
I actually do, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how nasty
Yeah.
that lawyer is? So I don't want anything associated with selling that house out there in the public domain. But yet at the same time, I know that there are people out there, agents, professionals, that are capable of selling my house because they happen to have buyers.
Okay. Well,
Those are the people I want to reach.
Okay, I can tell you what I can do for you.
What can you do for me?
Okay, as you know, after I market the property publicly, let's say on websites and put a sign on your lawn, I can do that for 3 days. Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to want to go onto MLS,
I don't even want that.
Okay. No, but let's say you don't even want that.
I don't even want that.
Here's what I can do for you. I can take your exclusive listing and market it like this. I can distribute the information to everyone in my company at my brokerage. I can tell every agent in my... Okay? And I can also, on a one-on-one basis, by email or by phone call other outside agents and tell them about your listing. Mm-hmm. And that's all I can do. That's it. That's all I'm allowed to do under the Canadian Real Estate Association.
Okay, but that's okay because you're a Chestnut Park agent. Uh-huh. And Chestnut Park has a broad base of agents who are connected in the community.
No.
But let's say I was with a small brokerage.
Yeah.
Their base, very small. How does that help me, given this policy? If I wanted to
we're not going to be able to reach those people.
Right.
I'm sorry. I mean, I would have to spend the rest of my life.
What about my choice?
Well, I'm afraid you really don't have one. I'm governed as a registrant under...
But just a second, is the Canadian Real Estate Association some government agency that can dictate these rules, these bylaws?
No, I'm afraid it's an association of member boards across the country.
So where does it get the power then?
Well, that's a good question, Chris. You've kind of stymied me now. As much as I'd like to help you, I'm afraid.
So think of the frustration of the consumer.
I mean, you forget this little role play now. You're the seller. You didn't vote in the members of CREA.
You don't even know they exist.
You didn't know they exist, so nor do you care for that matter.
No.
It's an industry association.
I want to sell my property.
Yeah.
In a way that I want to sell my property in conjunction with my professional advisor, namely you, the agent.
And you want to leave it to me.
Correct.
To do what I think is in your best interest. To market your property, even quietly.
Correct.
Quietly, because in your case, or the example you used, someone's involved in a contentious divorce matter. But what if you're a well-known person?
And we get those clients all the time.
Right.
They like to keep below the radar.
And as you know, changing the topic for a second, if you're a well-known person and you want to go put your house on MLS, I have to put your name on that MLS listing.
Correct.
So you might ask me the question, okay, so let's talk about going on MLS. Do I have to put my name on it? I'm going to say, I'm afraid so. Our board requires that. I'll be fine.
You can't John Doe it.
Cannot John Doe it.
I've tried it.
I know, you get busted all the time.
Yeah.
You can't do it, and the fines are substantial.
Correct.
So I have to tell you, famous person, I'm sorry, if you go on MLS, your name is going to be on that listing, and it's going to be broadcast around the entire community of hundreds of thousands of real estate agents across this country. Yeah?
So
So you say I want to go exclusively then?
So who actually administers this program? Does CREA have some enforcement officers?
Yeah, they do. They download the enforcement of this to each member board across the country. So in our case, it's a Toronto Regional Real Estate Board.
So they've delegated this down to the board.
Enforcement and governance of the policy. Is it policy?
It's a bylaw.
Bylaw. Is downloaded to local boards. So in our case, if there's a complaint against my behavior with respect to the CREA cooperation policy, the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, Toronto Real Estate and Regional Real Estate Board administers the enforcement of the policy.
Can I ask you an indelicate question?
Of course. Well, you can ask. I might not answer.
How vigilant is their enforcement?
From our intelligence, which is pretty thin. The enforcement has been quite lax and inconsequential. And they are not actually receiving many complaints from the public or from realtors.
Well, the public wouldn't complain. In fact, I don't think the public has any status
Well,
to complain
they
to
might.
the Toronto Regional Real Estate
Okay,
Board.
fair enough. So members.
Members.
Yeah. From what I understand, the Toronto Real Estate Board is receiving between 3 and 4 complaints a week, and are really only dealing with it on a, of course, case-by-case basis, and trying to enforce it by getting the violator to get onto the MLS system or to remove their infractions, i.e. their public marketing, a sign, websites, social media, whatever they're doing in violation of the policy, you're going to be asked to cease and desist. In theory, you could get fined for this breach of this bylaw. Doesn't seem to be the case.
And a lot of what's happening is really becoming quite irritating in this industry.
This is a particular. By the way, this is a subject. This subject matter is front and center in, I would say, most brokerages now in the province. If we're dealing just with Ontario, being compliant is very, very difficult, particularly because it infringes certain privacy matters. And why should you be told how to market your property? It's your property.
Correct.
You should be able to sell it however you wish. And if you wish to retain me to market it on a quiet basis to the people that I perceive to be
I
the
agree.
best, like we were at first a little kind of surprised at the pushback.
Because
there was a lot of blowback.
Just like what you read at the beginning of this discussion. Inherently, we believe that the greater the exposure, the better it is for the consumer, particularly the seller, because if it's broadly exposed, you're likely to get the best price that the market will bear, because almost everyone will see it. But there are instances.
Hold on a second. And that, to your point, we were proponents of the fact that the best way to do that is the MLS system.
Correct. That's why initially I viewed it positively, but as time has gone on, and hence we're having this meeting, because we covered this at a previous podcast, not very in-depthly, but we did cover this, but we didn't get into the nuances the way we're discussing it today.
Yeah.
But it is a concern, and I would hope that the Canadian Real Estate Association would revisit this issue. And if they did, my view would be that, and the whole issue, I think you haven't mentioned this, is why did this thing come up in the first place?
Oh, well, this is this coming soon thing.
Correct.
This is that's a whole
the
other
industry
problem.
itself abused.
Not at Chestnut Park.
No, not at Chestnut Park, but many, many other brokerages and agents in some of those brokerages abused the coming soon right.
And when did this coming soon thing come to?
I think it's been around, but it really got heightened during COVID.
So, I see. So this is really the
because there was
genesis
such
of-
demand for properties that you wanted people to know that your property was coming out, to hype the property up, to ultimately lead to multiple offers. But where the abuse took place was agents that were putting out properties on a coming soon basis restricted anyone from seeing the property. That is, other brokers, except people who came to them directly.
or their own clients.
And hence we're circumventing a system that was detrimental to the public at large. That's what prompted this. It was the initial abuse. So if they were to go forward, it would be my view, you could have coming soon, but it would be limited to a specific period of time, right? Limited to a specific period of time. And if you did go something coming soon, then it ultimately had to go to MLS. But if you wanted it to be exclusive, then it could stay exclusive at the consent of the seller. And then the agent could do whatever they wanted within the realm of an exclusive marketing campaign without being chastised.
The coming soon thing was an attempt to essentially what we call double end and retract your own client before anybody else has an opportunity to see the property. What if I just want to be an exclusive listing? as we've talked about, for various reasons. I don't want to go public.
You know, Doug, I don't need to tell you, but we had exclusive listings since time immemorial.
Exactly.
Since Genesis.
Yes. I find it very surprising that CREA can even contemplate a policy like this, a protectionist kind of situation where they are clearly, blatantly protecting their MLS system. I'm actually quite surprised and disappointed that there isn't considerably more pushback from organized real estate against this. And sadly, I think the pushback is
organized real estate is becoming a lame duck. It's not for this podcast, but I think perhaps the next podcast we should think about this. As you probably know, maybe our audience doesn't, but recently the Minister of
it used to be consumer. It used to be consumer and commercial relations, which you could easily.
Now they have some.
Now it's a mouthful of words.
Just recently indicated that the Real Estate Council of Ontario, which was and technically still is the governing body for real estate, is no longer going to have any influence from realtors themselves.
Right, nobody on the
creating a board where no realtor can be on the board. So essentially, realtors have no say, have no ability to direct policy, even when it's in the best interest of the consumer.
Shouldn't our local boards and our local associations
100%
be advocating on our behalf for a revision of a bylaw
Almost
like this?
Every local board is supportive of the recent announcement by Mr. Lapid.
Of no representation on the board.
No representation.
Can you explain that?
No. If I did, it would take a long time. I'd probably also use profanity, and I think we're trying to keep this at a...
what would you call it?
How's the wine?
Yeah, so it's. Let's have another look at this. You know what the hardest piece about this is? Compliance. It's becoming a very burdensome problem. I think the Burgundy's beautiful now. Sorry.
The Huff finishes so well.
I can see why you like that, but I do think the Huff has a bit of an acidic backbone that's a little bitterness, not acidity.
Yeah, that's
a slight bitter
finish.
note on the finish, which, I don't know, maybe that settles down too over time. But overall, I think they're both delicious. Fascinating turnaround on these wines. Development is amazing.
On the Burgundy is fantastic.
It is. It's a very elegant wine.
Oh my God! Very elegant.
Nicely done.
Very elegant.
Providing you wait a few minutes before you opine on it.
But would you like that we deal with that issue at our next podcast? Because I think the consumer should be aware of it. Our audience should be aware of it.
Fair enough. Can we wrap this one
Let's
up?
wrap this up.
How do we? What do we say, think, feel, do about this CREA cooperation policy? Is there a summary to this? Is there a conclusion for us?
I put forward my position on it. I think it's wrong for all the reasons that we talked about. And just to clarify, I'm not involved in a nasty divorce. I don't want to mislead anybody. Okay.
For the record.
For the record. Yeah. But I do believe the consumer should have choice. And that's what I'm discovering is more and more so choice is being taken away from the consumer. The vacant home tax, the taxes on foreign investors, the taxes on even people that aren't investors.
So much government intervention.
Yes.
Do you know, I think at first you and I were quite pleased with this. And I'll tell you why. Because we want to stomp out that coming soon nonsense.
Agreed. That sort of blinded me to the ill effects of this.
And it also supported our sense that it really is a great idea under normal circumstances to go onto the MLS system. It is in your best interest.
Agreed.
And then we started to see various circumstances and situations where we thought, oh, wait a second. It doesn't make sense to be on MLS. And stomping out the coming soon, it has done that pretty well. Yeah. But everything else has become a problem.
Well, maybe if we keep chirping, we'll be able to
this is a hot industry topic for sure. Probably the hottest right now.
Yeah, I agree.
As it relates to our agents.
But let's toast this
13th podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
everyone, for
toast
assisting
to our
us.
crew.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone,
Thanks
for
for watching.
listening in. And we look forward to our next podcast.
Yeah, stay tuned.
With Bordeaux.
With Bordeaux.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.